Yo, it's
Yeah.
another motivation, money making Monday, all access. If y'all
Mhm.
didn't know right now, we taking the all access deep dive into this candid conversation with Queen Emerys Young right now, the
Mhm.
co-owner of Kitchen 216 is a family owned and run establishment. You know what I'm saying? That's growing, that done amazing things over the years. I have consistently watched them grow from the kitchen all the way up to
Mhm.
a whole full-fledged restaurant that's in a plaza never been done before in the capital region. Kitchen 216. Emrys Young, it's an honor to have you here
How
today. You
you
know what I'm
doing?
saying? It's an honor to, we've been chopping it up for a while already, y'all.
Right.
And I just had to make sure that we are introducing this queen properly, and just wanted to make sure that she gets to let the people know who she is and what she has done in the capital region as an entrepreneur, a black woman, a mother, a
Mhm.
wife, all of those different hats that she wears. We want to find out about you, and we're gonna go back and forth as both entrepreneurs that
Right.
are, successful entrepreneurs in the capital region.
Yes. And
So
we've been here before, so it's
that's right.
definitely it's definitely easy talking to you.
Yes, yes, yes. This gonna end up being a series, y'all. I keep on saying it,
Yeah.
because we got some things to unpack as entrepreneurs and as just kings and queens and black men and a black woman, just having conversations just about just entrepreneurship, family life, relationships, all of those things that we contend with on a daily basis and have to deal with in order to be at our best. You know what I'm saying? In order to
Mhm.
live our lives to its full potential. So we here, and like I said, who is Queen Emerys Young?
All right. So, how y'all doing? Um, my name is Emrys. I am a chef. I'm the head chef at Kitchen 216. I am a mother. I'm a wife. I am an owner of a pretty well established restaurant.
How many years have you been in business?
Ooh. So, Kitchen 216 is almost 7 years old, but I have been in business for at least 10. At
Mm,
least 10. I want to say 11, but at least 10. The days run
congratulations
into
on that.
themselves.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Most to go with the statistics, most black-owned businesses fail within the first 18 months of being in business. So to get to that milestone of 7 and 10 in reality is a huge accomplishment. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you. And most restaurants have, I don't have the stats off my head, but I know that they are a lot worse than that
Yes,
for the restaurant business
in
in
general.
general.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so definitely.
Let the people know where your restaurant is.
So my restaurant is at Cross Gates Commons is 161 Washington Avenue Extension. We are
Hmm.
technically 163 Washington Avenue Extension. We're located directly in front of the Home Depot and At Home. And we
Hmm.
are right next door to McDonald's. So you really can't miss us if you're up in that area. And even if you're not, it's definitely worth getting into that area.
That's
So
a whole fact.
we are the only we're the only privately owned business in Crossgates Commons, and we're the only small business
Hmm.
in Crossgates Commons. So that's major. So I don't know if
Yes.
that's ever in general. Like I don't know if they've ever had. I don't believe that they have though. So that's
Hmm.
major. And uh, we've been we've been open for just a couple months, under 2 years, but we've actually had our space for 3.5 years.
Wow.
So yeah,
Hmm.
I was on maternity leave and got pregnant, so it kind of delayed. So we've and that's a
Right.
lot. So we've been in contract and we've been up there for
Right.
three
Yeah.
3 years plus. So
You was family building and empire building at the same time, and that was a
yeah,
part of the empire as well. So
right.
yes,
So yeah, and life was life, and so
yes. This food is delicious, y'all. It's next level soul food right here. So it's worth going to pick it up or just going on their website to make sure that they deliver to your address.
Right,
If they
right.
don't deliver to your address, trust me, it's gonna be well worth you driving up there to go get that food, because it's next level soul food. I'm telling you, it's some of the best that I've ever had, and not just in the capital region.
Yeah.
Just period. Let's put a pin in that. Period. It's some of the best soul food that I have ever had, and it's worth driving up to Crossgate Commons, or, you know what I'm saying, having it delivered to you on a consistent basis. Once you taste it once, you're gonna be addicted to it. Trust.
And I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that.
It's establishments that you would go into that the food be good but the service be bad. You know what I'm saying? And the atmosphere don't be right. You know what I mean? But you check all of those boxes. You got a great atmosphere, great food, and great service.
So I think it's work, you know. It's definitely work. I'm when I speak to people and they say things that you said, it definitely those are the moments that makes it worth
Worth
it.
it, absolutely.
But I think part of excellence is not being complacent, and that's why I looked over at the camera and said I'd be trying,
Right.
because I'm especially right now, like I'm in these phases where like I'm trying to step it up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where like if you think the food was good,
Right.
because I've been fine tuning things. Like I'm
Yes.
not one of those people who just feel like, oh, I got it.
Right.
I got it. No, I
Right.
always want things to be better. I feel like I'm learning to let go of this idea that it's going to be perfect every time, everything,
Mm-hmm.
and um just showing up
Mm-hmm.
to fine tune. I want to take my business to the next level. So
Absolutely.
like I've been like fine tuning things within the process, and I'm really really happy. Even more in this season right now, I'm really 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 proud of the food.
Yes.
Like in this season, like I
Mm-hmm.
know if you cook, we all know we can cook. We all feel like, oh, I got the
Mm-hmm.
best food. No, but like in recent times, the way like the response I've been getting from certain changes I've made,
Mm-hmm.
and certain like I don't know, it put me back in my chef bag. That's why when I went to go introduce, I started with chef,
Yeah.
because I'm a chef by trade, a self-taught chef,
Mm-hmm.
but you get so caught up in the business part of it. There's like, oh, I'm the owner of 216. I'm the head chef at Kitchen 216,
Right.
and our food ain't no slouch, you know. So that's saying something.
And you said a big piece about not being complacent. You know what I'm saying? Because a
Yeah.
person that's not being complacent and always striving to be better and reach a level of excellence and exceed that is always working on their craft. So
Yes.
that's great.
And I think with my business and what I do, it's um it's a little bit different, because anytime like okay, anytime you go to a restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
You hope what's created is what you get, meaning a lot of times, so many of us have been to places and we're just like, I don't like this, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or you get something. A lot of times that's not what was created, what the chef created, what they put
Mm-hmm.
out. You know, a lot of times those people was hired for a reason. Those
Right.
people got that position for a reason, but in the process, it changes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say I'm working on the next level, like that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, I know that I want to bring my business here. I know what
Right.
I'm trying to do. So I've been like working on these processes that were as though like I feel like I'm not gonna go if the quality of food changes. You know,
Right.
I've told myself that like
Mm-hmm.
through all through everything that has gone on, through having the kids, through the pandemic, through
Mm-hmm.
the space changes, the one thing that stayed consistent is food been good. So I
Mm-hmm.
always lean on that, you
Right.
know? Yeah.
Business wise, in the form of not just making the food better, but being able to teach others so that it can be a skill that you can scale. How is that working out, and how important to you is that?
There are so many moving parts to your plan. Like what
Mm-hmm.
this is the plan. If you ask me, I should have been out of certain phases of it.
Mm-hmm.
Since I've had kids, I'll use that as the marker, which is like my oldest is 7. I've always wanted to be out of the restaurant. Like I know
Right.
people can't believe that because I'm just like so much a part of the, but
Mm-hmm.
like I have no desire to be in the kitchen every day. That's not
Right.
what I want to be doing with myself.
Right.
I play a role in my business to get my business where it's going. You
Right.
know,
Absolutely.
we've developed ways that the staff executes what it is that we do. So the way it works in 216 is like nobody's coming in there and being like, oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. That's why when people always they'll message me or they'll see me be like, oh, I need to work in there. My mac and cheese is this, or I make the best. Well, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't. It is not like you're coming in here with your grandma's recipes. It doesn't. The people that work there don't even know what goes into the food. Honestly, they don't. They're part of a system. Even if it's a system, rather I'm doing of 4 different positions in there, or whether it's replaced by other people. So it's an assembly line of people executing that gets the final product, and that's what happens in any restaurant with any product. Something in that assembly line either tightened up or loosened up.
You do that.
Right.
It's so many moving parts.
Right. So I'll give an example. I always like to use this one. For instance, okay, so we do fried fish at the restaurant, right? And the fry time on it is 7 minutes.
Right.
That's the fry time on it.
Right.
The fryer is at 160. Right? It's somebody's job to turn the fryer on to 160. If they happen to be, if they had flour on their hand and they covered when they went to touch it and they covered the numbers and they put it to 180 or they put it to 150, that's gonna change the product. It doesn't matter how committed. It doesn't matter how early you got there. It doesn't matter how great your recipe of it. It's gonna change the product because that person is still gonna fry it for 7 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? So, and those are. You can have a system all you want to, but to fine tune it, to hone in on what the actual goal is and get it running long enough to where as though, okay, you take it to the next level, get it running long enough, fine tuned.
You need to have the right people in place to run the system so that it can run properly.
Right. And I think that that's a huge part of entrepreneurship that us as a culture, we just ain't got it. We're not there. Like even the questions that I get or the things people say to me sometimes, I just be like, okay, like like I'll be getting out of my car. I'll be getting out of my car. I just went to go get coffee or something. It'll be 9 o'clock in the morning. They'll be like, you ain't up, and I'm like, no, we don't open at 1, or we don't open at 11, or if it's the weekend, I'll be like, we don't open at 11, and they'll be like, you don't have no turkey wings, you don't have no mac and cheese, and just be like, well,
you don't have no life.
Well, when did you expect this stuff to happen? Like, you know what I mean? Or they'll be like, why y'all don't do breakfast? You know what I mean? And it's just like, well, you already here. Why ain't you doing breakfast? How do you think that food happens?
Right.
This is how I feel about things. And I always say this, and it's not just about my business, but it's about any business that you go in. I really wish that Black people would treat Black business like they do every other business. Meaning, if I go and I didn't have a good experience, you know what? I'm gonna take every other business out of it, and I am gonna speak just about mine, right? If you come to Kitchen 216, right, and you don't have a good experience, meaning you came at 9 o'clock in the morning and you felt like I should have had turkey wings ready for you, and that just didn't sit right with you, and you were upset because you saw me inside, but nobody came to the door, whatever. And I'm saying that to say whether your experience was just or unjust, right? If you come and you had something and you just didn't, I feel like we should be treated like every other restaurant. Meaning, when I came, if I didn't like what I had, I ordered something different, or I didn't come back, or I left a review. Whatever it is that you as an individual feel like you could do. For some reason, when it's Black people, it's so personal to us. It's like they carry it as if you're not a restaurant, like as if
it's personal, right?
As if the pink in your steak was done on purpose, and it was like, as if it's never happened to you before, And it's like, for me, a lot of people always say business ain't personal. When you talk about, it does start out personal for us, I started in my house. How more personal does it get?
Right.
And that helps you and it hurts you. Meaning you have a lot. When I feel like my food got great from, I'm handing it to you. I was saying, I handed the last one to you. You want to tell me about the last time you seeing you face the, we're in the same. I didn't even do pickups. I used to have delivery only because it's like I didn't think everybody knew I lived in Clinton, whatever. But we got so busy at some point in time with my husband, like I was out the house with multiple delivery drivers, and they would be coming in and out so much that people would be waiting for their food. Like, oh no, I'm going there. I'm talking about I've been in my kitchen and people walked in my house and I'm like, what are you doing here?
Right,
like,
right.
Please go downstairs. Like,
Right.
I'm talking about they were never invited. They never got told to
Right.
pick up. They just saw. So it doesn't get any more personal than that. So those are the roots
Right.
of it, and you grow it into this business that people look at this business. You know, so I say that to say, a lot of times with Black business, you really like the way when you went to Starbucks and you would the coffee was burned and you and it was like, okay, it didn't change your opinion about the brand. It was like they gave you. I feel like
and you give it another chance.
You give it another chance if you want to. If you want to, but I feel like the way people will be like, oh, you know, I have people sitting in front of me. They'll be like, I don't eat everybody greens. You know, it's like, can I taste it? Why can't you just order the greens? And if you don't like them, don't order them again.
Right.
Like, why you can't just treat me like you do when you go to Olive Garden or when you go to, you know what I mean? So there'll be this idea that it's like, Black business needs to do this. Black business needs to do this. Black business do this. Black business does have improvements, but that need to be made. But it's like we need room also. We need
to grow and to get better and to fine tune everything that we're doing and not be canceled out.
And even when it's fine tuned, it's never going to be
perfect. Right.
We're not giving the same leeway. And I used to talk, you know, because we've been friends for a long time. I used to talk a lot on my platform about Black business, but I felt like the more my business grew, the less I had room for that, because I feel like everything I say, people think I'm talking about my business, my business, my business. Right. Before I had a brick and mortar space, I would always talk about Black business because I always did little things. Like, you know, I used to make baby shoes, but you gotta be truthful about your mission and you gotta stay on your mission,
on your path, right?
Yes, and we learn and we grow as we go along, but we have to stop taking in everything, you know what I mean? Like
and taking it personally, you know what I'm saying? And I always say that, like, you know, we working to give every person that walks through the door, white, Black, green, yellow, whoever coming to patronize our business, the best experience possible. That's always the outlook. You know, we always want people to be served, to be happy. My saying is, I want you to be better when you leave than when you came in. You know what I'm saying? And that's always my mindset. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing is the same with your food. You feeding people. They are digesting and ingesting the food that you're giving them. So that you definitely want it to be the best, you know what I'm saying, experience for them, both from the atmosphere, the service aspect, as well as the food. And for me, is the clothes, the service, as well as the atmosphere of my establishment. When you come in, I want the whole experience to be one of excellence, where, you know, like, yo, I feel great about spending my money here.
Yes, but the understanding that you have people that you're never going to do that for.
Right.
You have people that, you know, I'm talking about your space, where it is. You know where you are and how it feels like the dun-to-dun. You know what I mean? When you walk in there, how it feels like, you know, like how this seems like, you know, the big, huge clothing stores that's in the mall. They got like, there's going to be, we're still in this space culturally that you standing there representing the business makes it to where as though it's something about this just like
right.
I see the difference. I see the difference.
Absolutely.
And it's like,
I feel it. I see it. I deal with it on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? You know,
I see the difference, and I am
like, yo, he gotta be selling crack.
Yeah, right.
And
and that commitment to excellence that you have, it's almost like it's not real if something didn't add up to their standards. And a lot of times it's not, that part is what's not real. It's not like a lot of times they're coming not as a customer, but almost as a critic. And I just feel like, you know, with I'm not in these spaces. I speak about it to help us. I'm not in these spaces where I internalize it at
Right.
all. Like I'm kind of like,
You grew past that. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. But when that whole like it's not, I see people all the time chewing people up on social media,
Mm-hmm.
and then when the person is responding or they're talking about it or whatever they're doing online, it's like it's just business. It ain't personal. People leave their kids. I leave my kids 14, 15 hours a day to do this. Ain't nothing
Right.
more personal. So you can put
Absolutely.
it in your mind that way
Mm-hmm.
if you want to. A lot of times, y'all, and this is talking to black entrepreneurs, you talking to people that ain't even going to their 9 to 5 on time.
Mm-hmm.
You talking to people that's their 8th job this year.
Right.
So, and I'm saying that to say you can't take in everything. You
That's a
can't,
fact.
you can't make everything a part of your mission. And I used to do that. I used to be like, "Oh, you think I should have a $12 plate? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you think I should?
Right.
Oh, when I was in
Right.
my
And you be all
processes,
over the place. Right.
you'll
Nah,
be
I get that.
all
Yeah.
over the place,
Yeah.
and you'll be all over the place. And I think that
Trying to please everybody.
right,
Yeah.
and I can't because I'm really an entrepreneur and I really do this. Like
Mm-hmm.
it ain't no social media thing. I really do
Right.
this.
Right.
I can't speak outside of the ABCs of business. I can't speak about your business. What I can say that as a group, a whole black entrepreneurs, what we have to do is do a better job of humanizing ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's this idea that's being perpetuated on social media and even on like these realities that you start something and then it's
Mm-hmm.
just like it looks like this or it looks like this or it
Mm-hmm.
looks like that. No, you don't got to give mom and pop. It ain't like, oh, bear with me, please support me. No,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's the way either. But I do think that to come into it um, more realistic about, not even realistic, to come into it closer to the truth about what's really going on here. I think it does
Mm-hmm.
us such a service, especially with our families, like
Mm-hmm.
our families and the customers. Like I find myself like it would do black business such a service if we were more honest with ourselves and transparent with other people as far as like business takes time to grow.
That's a
you
fact.
know I have to pay to
Every
get the
day.
trash dumped. I gotta pay to keep. I
Every
gotta
day.
pay to get the dumpsters cleaned out. A
Every
service
day.
comes and cleans the dumpsters because if not, the whole parking lot would smell like crap. There's
Right.
not. There's no part of anything that you do
That
that don't
that
cost
doesn't
money.
cost money.
You
That's a
gotta pay
fact.
to get the lights on. You gotta pay the people to come out and fix the lights in the parking
That's a
lot when
fact.
they don't work. You gotta pay. You gotta pay the groundskeeper. You gotta pay the pest control people. You gotta pay for you gotta pay for the Pepsi. You gotta buy the Pepsi. You gotta pay Pepsi to service. You gotta pay.
Right. You
There's
gotta pay for the
no.
ice that go in the ice machine to keep the Pepsi cold.
You
Right.
gotta pay. You got now. I'm buying ice because my ice machine is broken.
Right.
It's a $5,000 machine.
Yeah.
You're not so. It's like
These are the things that behind the scene that the people
that
don't
people
even
don't.
and we don't expect the layperson to even have to think about these things, but we have to give ourselves grace and pray that the customer gives us grace as well as we go through these
Right when you
processes.
want to compare like when you want to compare like the chicken we sell to the chicken at the gas station that's damn near the same price, meaning the same price. And I have corner store and gas station owner friends. I know how it works. I'm talking
Right.
about the chicken that they ain't even cleaning.
Right.
It's going in and they
Right.
pouring the solution off of it that comes in and they seasoning it up and they frying it and you buying it for like $1 or $2 less than what we sell. And
Right.
I gotta not only do I gotta pay to get it picked up, I gotta pay
Right.
to get it cleaned.
Right.
I gotta pay the person who prepping it.
Mm-hmm.
And not only are you paying them, but I gotta pay a tax on the money I'm paying them.
That's a fact.
Like
Right.
so this idea, like I got people I know that'll ask me for stuff, and I'll be like, "Where do you think I'm gonna get it from?"
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
And I think like one of the major things that I have grown to understand, like, you know, certain customers is not my customer, and you got to be all right with that. You know what I'm saying? You know, like if you get to the point where you got like that gas station chicken customer that want that price, that want that product, then you gotta release them. You gotta let them be in
And you
that
have to
space.
understand them. You have to
Right.
understand them and be good with that. Like,
Yeah.
what current customers is not your customer. And I always see people say, "Oh, no money left on the table." You lie.
Yeah.
I'm leaving a lot of money. I'm leaving the money on the table even when I need it, because
Mhm.
it's a lot of stuff just is not worth it. It's
Right.
not going to be. You're not going to reach everybody. Everybody not coming to Fresh and Fly, regardless of
Mhm.
whatever. Everybody not coming to 216. I I always see bumping into people and they feel like they got to explain to me why
Right.
they don't eat. I'm
Right.
good. Like,
Right.
I'm good. Like,
Right.
and it's not because, oh, I don't need no more
Right. Right.
customers.
Right.
It's
No, it's
not
not that.
any of that.
But
It's
yeah.
like,
Yeah. 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 I get
it's
that. I
it's
get that.
cool. Eat
Right.
what you
I
like.
understand. Right.
Eat
Right.
what you what
Right.
why you don't like us is personal to you. It's not
Right.
personal to me.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean?
Because
Like,
I got to keep on keeping on regardless to what your likes and dislikes are. You know what I'm
right.
saying? No matter what.
I feel like my business is very consistent. I'm gonna break that
Mhm.
down. I feel like we're
Mhm.
very consistent. I feel like not only have we done this for a long time, I feel like we've done this for a long time at the highest level that was within my ability in those moments,
Mhm.
And I feel like I know that our consistency or our growth or our ability to retain, because I'm still feeding people that literally brought from my first dinner sale.
Right.
It's because of that consistency, and people will get it twisted in their mind because you don't operate like Subway. They
Mhm.
will never know what it took you to open these doors at all. They will never know
Right.
what it took. They will never know that you stayed here till 1 o'clock in the morning
The
and you
night
came
before.
back
Right.
here at 7 to try and
Mhm.
come. They will never know that you're on 12, or they will never know that your day off most of the time isn't even really a day off, because
That's a
you
fact.
they'll never know all that stuff.
Mhm.
It'll just be like, oh, this is why I don't support black business. Me,
Right.
or they'll come in, maybe, or they'll come in, or maybe your solution was, I'm gonna take baked chicken off the menu for a couple months because
Right.
that's 2.5 hours worth of prep every day.
Mhm.
Just the baked chicken alone. That's some.
Right.
Not only is that 2.5 hours worth of prep, that's at $18 an hour. What that person makes,
Mhm.
and everybody expects baked chicken to be cheap, so you can only
Right.
serve it for a certain amount.
That's a
And then
fact.
my
And
solution gonna
that's transferable to many different businesses. Absolutely.
my solution gonna be gonna be to take this off them, and you gonna come in and you gonna feel like,
You're gonna feel
oh,
some type of
they don't. This is why I don't even. You
right.
find they don't even got the big check.
Right. What's the importance of that family, work life, entrepreneurial life, that business life that either needs separating, or how does it intertwine with a successful business as a whole, and in your life and in your experiences? Growing up, we've been programmed to think that we're not supposed to do business with our mates. We're not supposed to do business with family, things of that nature. Like, keep your business and your family separated type of thing. But in reality, what better people, especially if they alike and they are on the same page with you and they have an understanding of what the end goal looks like, then what better people to align with your business than your family or your mate that can work with you to help you build that business in whatever capacity. They don't even have to be, they could be silent partners, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
help you out
They could
on
keep
certain
your
ends.
books. They could
Right.
be the person who files, and so I think everything with boundaries and also being in the truth of things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
same thing with whether it's people you find on Indeed, or whether it's your sister, whether it's your husband. You ain't
Mm-hmm.
about to turn nobody into nothing.
Right. You got
So
to know what you got.
you can influence people,
Right.
but there's still going to be that component of them. Like, basically, I feel like in business in general, whether it's your family, especially black business, because we coming
Mm-hmm.
from back here, y'all. Like,
Right.
you got to bring people to the table who are already doing what you need them to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to get a little, I hate to say OD, but this what I'm about to say is like, it's it's very transparent, and it is for the sake of helping someone else, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to bring people to the table who are already doing what you need them to do well somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, I'm bringing her. I want my cousin Linda to come here and be our grill cook because she been the grill cook over there at Olive Garden for 8 years, and
Mm-hmm.
and now she's a district leader, and now she's
Yeah.
a whatever. It can't be cousin Linda that's just under your post every time you post hire and saying the same person that said they
Mm-hmm.
needed a job 6 months ago and the
Right.
same person that it gotta make sense,
Right.
right?
Absolutely. And
And
and on top of that, because this is very important that if we ever want to get far or anywhere as a community, as a people, as a nation, then we have to become the number one employers of our own people. And when they have gifts and talents that they're using elsewhere and they can be utilized within our own businesses and we can compensate them and pay them accordingly, then we have to be able to make that move. I think like the biggest piece for us as business owners is getting to that point where we're able to pay for the services and the skill levels that we know that we need. You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
and
In order to grow.
that's true. That's definitely that's true. And to champion on top of that is like being in the truth of what that is, like really understanding your situation. Sometimes it's more, sometimes the pay somebody. I've had people doing the same in the same position, and this person
Mm,
is worth $22 an hour, and this
mm,
person I dread giving this 15 to.
right.
So if you were able to go ahead and give that person they 23 or they 24
Mm,
something that they would make if they were over there on the grill at
right.
whatever have you,
Mm,
this person already come to the table ready to
mm,
be
everything.
what that person
Right.
what together could. So it's like this person is not going to get that, like being able to see people's value,
Let,
it's that
let's not
belief.
leave that because you said something that was very important earlier when you said that now you are surrounding yourself with people that are teaching you different new things about how to grow and scale your business versus sometimes in the past where you might have the naysayers and things like that that was in your circle that you had to contend with on that level, and that brought you either some fight back, you know what I'm saying? Or, it's just like, damn, you start to get a little bit discouraged and you had to overcome that. But now you're around circles of people that are encouraging you and teaching you how to grow and scale your business. How important it's having the right circle and being around the right people and having your levels of success as an entrepreneur. How important is that?
I think that is it's probably the number one. It's probably like the number one um factor to growth. So I don't be around a lot of people. I know from social media, everybody always tell me like, everybody. I
Mm-hmm.
really don't. Like,
Right.
I really don't. I really be at work. I really be at
Mm-hmm.
home more so than I would even admit. Like, I'm trying to get out.
Right.
Um, the people that I share space with now, when I do share space, because I'm not around a lot of people, but they're all people that are focused on their mission. They're
Mm-hmm.
all people that are doing what they want to be doing. They have committed to what they're doing in a
Mm-hmm.
certain way to where there's insight to that. And
Right.
there's no gatekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
There's also like a belief, in you.
Mm-hmm.
That's like big.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that's
big.
like
That's
big.
huge.
Like
Yeah.
that believing in you. And this is
Seeing something in you that you don't even see yet yourself. Know what I'm saying? Yeah.
yes, and I do have a friend like that. I do have a friend like that. I'm just like, yeah, like what you talking about, girl?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. You
you,
have to remind yourself who you
yeah,
are. Yeah.
yes. And I'm just like,
You
but
right.
a
Yeah.
lot of us aren't coming from that. A lot of us
Right.
aren't coming from those spaces of encouragement or those spaces of where we believe in ourselves. And that's why when we talk about those people around us that don't have anything for the mission, a
Mm-hmm.
lot that really does have to stop being so personal.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta pick and choose. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
separate yourself in a way, and it gotta not be because they're a hater, or because they don't want to see
Mm-hmm.
us win. A lot of times you gotta look, those people don't even believe in
Right.
themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're
Right.
not even committed to. They done gave up on what they wanted to do a long time
Right.
ago.
Right.
So imagine them seeing it in you and can't see it in themselves. They're not.
Facts.
You know.
It's not
So
gonna happen. Right.
right. And sometimes we don't. When I started my business, I didn't start a business. I started doing something, and it felt good. Like when I started doing it, the same like the response that I got,
Yeah.
it felt good, you know.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
had
It fed you.
it
Yeah.
fed me, and it made me feel like that was like my first time, like, oh, I could do like, you
Right.
know. And it was like I could like, oh,
I
I
can make
made
somebody
what?
happy and make money from what I'm
What?
doing. Right.
And it's that like whether you're a sociable person or not, anything that you're doing that incites human connection, like where humans are coming together in a likeness,
Right.
that's like
Positively.
you find
Yeah.
your purpose in that. Like that's when you know,
Absolutely.
like it's not just about, oh, somebody feeling like your food is good. It's not that. It's like, damn, like these people coming from way over there from
Right.
what I'm doing.
You see
They
this
travel.
family coming together and enjoying
They come
themselves and
from
having a
Hudson every
memorable
Sunday.
experience in your space.
Right.
Yeah,
They
that's
come.
dope.
They're
I love that.
every time they're in this area, they come here.
Mm-hmm.
Their kids go to school out here, so every time they in the area, we're part of. I had a guy come in the restaurant the other day, and he came like soon as we got open, and for the first couple moments he was there, it was like nobody else there. And you know how you just feel watched? Like I felt this guy like he was just watching me.
Right.
And I'm like almost like I'm doing what I'm doing, but I'm like,
Right.
can
Right.
you get
You
his hurt and
concerned.
get his food
Right.
out? Like, so as the traffic started trickling in and I felt more comfortable going in the front, because he didn't call me or get my attention, but you could tell when somebody like,
yeah, it's paying attention to your actions and your movements. Yeah.
or almost want to get your attention.
Right.
So when I went up there, mind you, I had already did the how you doing, everything like that. He was like, when I went to go hand him his food, he was like, I've been following you for like 8 years. He like, I'm sorry, I can't remember where he was from, but he was like, I'm from such and such, and he was like, I never thought I never thought I would come here. He was from many, many states away on the other side of the country. I just can't remember. And he was saying like, I always said if I make it to, I never thought I would come to Albany. He didn't know how to pronounce it. I never thought I'd become to Albany, but he was like, but I always knew if I did, I was gonna get food from you.
Right.
And he was like, he was a truck driver. He was like, wherever he was going, he made mention that it was 45 minutes away from Albany, but because that was the closest time he would see the link, he came.
Yes.
And he didn't come for nothing. He came because he saw me doing something that was like, oh, and now and you know, and he just was like, I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm really proud of you. And he was like, he was like, even just coming and just really just seeing you. He's like, I don't see you on the page or whatever. And
it makes it all worth it.
Right. Yeah. And I have those moments with customers all the time where they'll tell me about myself, or like what they'll tell me something that they had. It was like, remember you used to bring my food to Stewart's? They was like, remember you used to always meet me at Stewart's? Or they'll tell me every apartment I ever lived in.
And you never know how the things that you do impact somebody else. Because you just doing you just doing the thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And those when you have if you have a hard day, because in the restaurant business, it ain't got to be a bad day. It don't have to be a bad day. A lot of days are just hard.
Yes.
And people don't. You know how often somebody comes to work at 216 and they tell me like, I had no idea the amount of work that goes in this. I never imagined that you were in here doing all of this, because they just think like you just like
right.
You know, it's a lot that go into it. So those things really make it worth it. Not so much of, I think other people sit back and feel like, oh, y'all don't jump from here. At every point, you was always working, and you working to move forward. So yes, you're happy to be here, and you look forward to moving forward. But it doesn't feel for me like it does for the people watching it. It feels like, I'm trying to, like, you know why you move. When I went to Central, I knew what I was trying to get out of that. When I came to Crossgates Common, I know what I want out of it. But the difference between me, the difference between you, the difference in the people that do it, it's not because, I do feel like I got the best food. That's just me, you know. But it's not because you were the best cook in the world, and it's not because you were the smartest person in the world. It's because you believed and you kept going and you
stay
stayed
consistent.
true to what the mission actually was, not what it looks like, what they that's what I bring to the table. Yeah, I do have other things. I've learned so much in this process. You know, I'm like the best. If somebody calls out and everybody at the restaurant took a vote, they would literally vote me to do the dishes because I was gonna do them. I'm gonna do them the fastest, and I'm gonna get us out the quickest. Like it's I have different things that I've learned over the line. I'm a great line cook. All these things that weren't a part of what you started out,
And
you know?
anything I always tell my staff, anything that I'm asking you to do or that's on your task list to do, I've done it personally. You know what I'm saying? All of these things. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and then I'd be like, and it don't take that long.
Facts.
Like, you know, so
Facts.
and you know, those parts, those are parts that, like, you know, the people don't get to see that part. You know, they don't get to see that this person called out and the only other option for dishes is you, and we all gonna be here at 11 o'clock if I don't do them, so let me just go ahead and
let
get
me
them.
bust these out.
Yeah, and now it's 30 degrees outside and I'm going home soaking wet. The thing about me is that no matter what, if 216, and I use it for an example, if 216 was to blow up tomorrow, so long as I'm not inside of it, I'm gonna keep going.
That's a fact.
So that's just me, and that is what I bring to the table. What I'm learning, and I wasn't always the best at it, is also being able to evaluate what other people bring to the table, not what I need them here for.
Right.
And you can learn it. Now you're working on applying it. A lot of times when you talk about business with family, you want to be true to the mission and move accordingly. If the mission is overall financial freedom and the mission is generational wealth, this idea that like I'm burning hot, we got to do this, and you know, if the mission is for y'all to have these kids and you to actually be able to raise them and be in their lives on an everyday basis, you know, I spoke to that to say that even though I was like in my, you know, like focused on my truth and I knew that I could do this in the restaurant, I knew all the people was coming, it wasn't the way I moved, it wasn't really aligned with what I overall really wanted, you know. So to be able to mature and look back on that and say, and there was nothing blinding me. It didn't. I didn't have no man that had to be like, oh, well, here's an applicant or here's He was never, ever, ever, never that type. But you'll be so wrapped up into what you have going on, and it is a form of selfishness
that you don't say connected to the us vision. You know what I'm saying? Versus the you vision, and then you have to reconnect with that to see the bigger picture of what we both wanted and our different degrees of happiness, in order to achieve that.
Also, somebody else having experiences that you can't see because you ain't really lived in that way. My husband got almost 9 years on me. So when he would say, "Oh, it was changing the dynamics of the relationship," and you gonna see certain things because you just like you don't see you don't get,
it ain't clicking like that.
It ain't clicking. It ain't clicking like that for you, and then years later, you be like, you was on to something.
Yeah, you was
because I definitely think that we're unique. I'm not saying that we do it perfectly. I'm not saying that we do it perfectly. But I feel like we're unique in the sense that we have gotten up every day and went to work together for the last 8 years. 8.5 years. We go home together. You know, it ain't that much love in the world. You need separation from people. You know, so and I know, and some people mind to be like, oh, I would love to go. No, but when he was saying, oh, let me play this role of it and I can humbly look back now and say, yes, we are in the direction that I want to be, but we'd have got there faster and went beyond if I saw
what he
where you
was
were
trying to
saying
paint the
from it.
picture of, right?
Yes, where he was saying like, I don't see this for you. I don't
Right.
want this on your back. I don't want
Right.
you working 15, 16 hours a day.
Right.
I don't want you to have to be
Let us do it
this
this
when
way.
somebody,
Right.
yeah, let me provide this kind of backing
Mm-hmm.
for it. Let me make sure that no matter what's happening in the restaurant, the bills can
You
always
already
be
got that.
paid.
Right.
So if you have that kind of person that's like, all right, I'm telling you we should do this, and you wait till the baby get about 2 years and then you go, but I don't want to feel like if I'm saying like nobody's gonna do what you're gonna do, and nobody gonna, like, I know how hard it's gonna be. I wasn't one of the people that was like delusional about the level of work that we was about to put in. I know.
Mm-hmm.
When that's why in the beginning when we spoke first speaking, I said, you have to stay true to what it is that you want out of it. Like, some people if somebody's broke and don't have no money and they came across no money, it's always in their mind that, oh, we got to get this money. Is it
Mm-hmm.
the money? The money.
It's
It's like
always
that's
the
always at the
chasing
front,
factor.
the first,
Right.
at the front of the forefront. So I feel like a lot of people will judge entrepreneurship from that space. But if you know what you want out of it, and you know what you're looking to do, like I know what I want and I know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to do. It's so many people around me that their mission was cut short
Mm-hmm.
in one way or another, whether it be, I'm talking about people that lost their mind, people that
Lost
go
their
to
life.
jail,
Yeah.
lose their life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming from those spaces. So is he. It's very easy to like get disconnected from yourself
Mm-hmm.
and feel like something is all you got, you
Right.
know?
Nah, I get
And
that.
I feel like there was a point in time in my marriage where I probably didn't know which one I wanted more.
Mm.
Like
Nah, that's real
like
talk.
oh like I'm talking about above beyond anything. I just want this to work,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because you almost done aligned yourself with it where it feels like it's you. I'm not 216.
Right.
I'm not like
Right.
at all. And then
Right.
like, you would
And
be
I
doing
think that
something.
at this point, like when you or saying that you putting people in place so that they can learn the skills and learn the things that you want them to do within the business, so you can remove yourself from the business and do the other things that your life calls you to do. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And I think that that's the big process piece that allows you the conviction and the position to be like, I am not kitchen 216
Cause
at this point, whereas years ago you might have not been able to really embrace that statement.
yes, and people always talk about, but I always hear people say, "How do you balance? How do people balance?" I think a lot of times we be on a treadmill trying to balance. You got to
That's a fact.
prioritize.
That's a
You got to
fact.
prioritize, and I think that like I'm definitely in a space where it's like prioritizing what's really important to me,
Mm-hmm.
understanding like, oh yeah, this is how we get, and this is what. But you gotta put you'll come where you put things in perspective. Like, you'll
Mm-hmm.
be in spaces where you like, the restaurant business is a very, if you are a restaurant, if you are, you're not just a business owner, if you're an owner operating, it is a very, very demanding,
Mm-hmm. It's
very,
taxing.
your owner operator, head chef, it's a lot on you.
Mm-hmm.
To wrap it up, what you were saying as far as like putting other people in position, I never been in a space where we couldn't hire people to do this, or people do this, or people do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have I have gotten, and I'm not out of it yet, I'm just working on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so feeling it's gotta be exactly like this, or it's not like
It's that
act.
micromanager. Yeah.
And if it and first of all, you trying to do everything makes it to where as though that's when you're the least consistent because you
All
can't
right.
do everything. But it's like it's never gonna be. It's
That's a
never
fact.
gonna be. No
Mm-hmm.
matter how you, I can. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's never gonna be you feeling like, oh, I gotta. If I tell you to, I gotta go make sure you.
Right.
And even though you really do,
Mm-hmm.
like, the proof is in the pudding. Like, I
Right.
told you to, and if I don't go behind you, it's not gonna happen. But it's never going to work. You're
Mm-hmm.
never going to be able to maintain that. You're never going to grow outside of that.
That's a fact.
You will grow the business. Look where I've taken it.
Mm-hmm.
Look at where we have taken it.
Mm-hmm.
But it ain't you taking it still in
To
there
that
like,
to that
did,
level,
did
and
you sweep
then
the floor? Did
right.
you did you and did you this is something a little bit more tangible, right? Something that y'all could stop quitting your jobs.
Mm.
Stop quitting your jobs. Like, grow your business, pay the bills, pay the bills,
Mm-hmm.
grow the business to the best of your ability. When it needs more time, use the money that you're making to put people in place.
Mm.
Pay the bill until let your business remove you from your job.
Right.
Keep your job, run the business, do business. And when you leave work, let it be because my business can full time employ me. Not
Mm-hmm.
I'm going
To
I'm
work.
going into it to purposely struggle. That's the mind state we got to get out of.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that me understanding this has come from um, maturing. There's this idea that, oh, it's gotta be, yeah, you're gonna go through things, but you can learn things and apply it. You
That's a
don't have
fact.
to go in there and go through all of this and this and this and this and
Right.
that and that. That's the advantage that these other cultures have over
Right.
us, having experience that they don't have to go through
Yeah,
themselves.
because they second and third generation entrepreneurs or business owners, whereas we are first
Right.
generation, and we learning all the things. So there's a lot of truth in what you just said about maintaining a job that's gonna or a career that is paying your bills and that is sustaining you, and then go on to run your business and run that business successful, so that you can pour what you have and learn in your career into that business until that business is able to afford you
That's a
without that
whole
career.
fact. That's like,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for being able to put the words so eloquently. Yes. Go to work, um, minimize, minimize. A lot of times we thinking we got to make more money to grow the business when really we have to minimize some of the expenses.
Mm,
Um, try to, and make it make sense.
mm,
Make it make sense numbers wise. Um, and yeah, keep going. That, I feel like that's important. Keep going. A lot of us start something and it's like the moment we have a year that we didn't take off and now we ain't doing it no more.
mm.
Now we doing something else. Now we do.
I want to
You
give up
gotta
on it.
see things through.
Mm,
That's important, to see things through. That's the only thing I'm doing right now is I'm seeing
mm.
it through, and
Right.
it's going how it's going. But if if a bad season or a bad day or an unhappy customer or or if I let that change the mission, I'm not gonna
You're
I
not gonna
wouldn't
be
be
successful.
here
That's a
and
fact.
I wouldn't be going where I'm going.
Mm.
So um
Never give up. Overcome those little pitfalls and valleys that we go through as entrepreneurs,
and
and
stop
keep
thinking you
going.
have to. This is the last thing I have to say, for real, Jess, for real. This is important to me. It's so important to me, for real. Stop. It goes right along with like learning before you actually jump head first. And stop thinking you have to work so hard. A lot of times, like, you could, like, you can, I tell people all the time, like, you can really go into your business as whatever role it is that
Hmm.
you set up for yourself. You
Hmm.
just have to set it up for yourself. A lot of times
Facts.
we go jumping in something, we in the pool
You feel
before we
like you
know
got
how
to do
deep it
all the
is.
roles, right?
Yeah, like a lot of times we done jumped in the pool and we're there before we knew it was 6 feet. You got to
Mm.
stop doing that. You got to understand and know what you're getting yourself into. Of course, you're going to have your own experiences, but bump shoulders with people who are doing what you want to be doing.
That's a fact.
Talk to people who are committed to what they're doing, and
Hmm.
I think that's important. If I could, that'd be the main thing I tell any business that I have other things I want to do. I don't just want to cook. I
Right.
don't just want to do the restaurant business, but those are things that I learned from the restaurant business. I look forward to going into something and saying, okay, this is what it's going to look like. These are the
Mm.
pieces that I need. This is the and moving forward. That's what these other people do when they're starting businesses. They ain't jumping into it trying to, trying to be
Figure it out and do everything
every single to
themselves,
be every
right?
aspect of it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And you already got your job.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to keep the job and to if the business is bringing nothing but maintaining itself, now you okay. If I do this, now I can turn a profit.
Right.
If I do this, I can turn a bigger profit versus
And you
I'm
don't have
jumping
the
in and have
stress, right?
all these.
The stresses of making it work and having your bills on the same line without having a career attached to it. That's very powerful. That's very powerful. So keep going, keep your career, pour into your business, get a good mate, and build your relationship with someone that understands the mission so that the mission could be achieved and realized.
Take care of them kids.
That's right. That's it for this edition of Motivation Money Making Monday.